On this episode of Translogic, we gear up for some high-tech track days. Audi shows off their autonomous RS7, Lamborghini unleashes a Huracan at the Ascari Raceway, and a state-of-the-art simulator improves drivers' real-life lap times. Welcome to Translogic. I'm Jonathon Buckley. For years now, we've been hearing about autonomous driving functions, things like adaptive cruise control or lane change assist. But what about fully autonomous vehicles? Well, it appears that Audi is one of the leaders of the pack when it comes to this field. And that's why we're here today to meet Bobby. Who's Bobby? Well, Bobby's this guy. Well, we clearly have plenty of questions about Bobby. That's why we're here with Klaus Verweyen. Are there any other automakers out there currently racing autonomous vehicles?
We think we have the most sporty piloted driving car in the market in the moment.
Is it a camera-based solution, or are we using things like radar and LiDAR?
On the racetrack, we use actually two systems just to be safe. The one thing is digital GPS, so it's very precise, corrected GPS data. And the second thing is an optical visual system, which is viewing the track through a stereo lens.
These are the cameras.
Yeah.
Which...
So those are the sensors up the top there that are watching the track. But It's not using the white lines, is it, for directions?
Not really. It's purely feature-based. For example, this little umbrella there, this could also be a feature for him.
Like a focus point, and that combined with the GPS.
Exactly. That gives him his position. And actually, the GPS and the visual is redundant information for him.
OK. How long does it take for Bobby to learn a track?
It's actually comparatively fast. So if we come to a new track, we show him once the right line of the track. So basically I go like this all lap long, and then we do the same with the left side, and he will basically learn the boundaries within which he can operate.
When I heard I was going to be hopping into a driverless car, I instantly became nervous because there are so many variables, especially at racing speeds, and things change as the day progresses. Tyres wear out, brakes start to fade. What happens, for instance, say Bobby comes around a corner and there's a patch of oil that's appeared out of nowhere?
Yeah, the system tries to control the car at each time.
So you're saying basically if he was to start to lose traction, your systems would take over traction control, stability control?
Exactly.
Well, one of the things that we are here today to do, of course, is to put man versus machine. I'm going to be driving a stock RS7, but Bobby is also going to be doing a lap. And he's essentially a stock RS7, but fully autonomous, yes?
Yes, exactly.
OK, and so our lap times are going to go against one another to see who wins. I'm actually surprisingly nervous about this. Well, I've got to say, like, from the get-go, I'm a pretty bad passenger normally, let alone when the car is driving itself like Bobby is today. So what do we have to do here?
We will go for a piloted drive.
Yeah.
And we don't have to do a lot because we're just passengers.
Is there a safety button? Like, if all of a sudden Bobby gets a mind of his own, is there some way we can just shut the whole system down?
I have a deadman switch here.
Right.
And as soon as I let loose of this button, I can basically just retake control.
It's quite eerie. Are you okay with this? You've done this a few times, I guess.
We've done that hundreds of times.
Hundreds of times. And you seem pretty confident.
We're super confident.
Come on then, Bobby. Show us what you got. Oh, nice work, Bobby. Oh, I like it. He clips the corners of the chicane, just like I would. I'm a little bit nervous that I might not be able to beat him.
So what he knows very well is the line and also the braking point, as you already realized.
The braking point's
He brakes comparatively late.
He does, doesn't he? Wow, he's like clipped the cones. Bobby's out of control.
But he never touches the cone. We have never ever thrown one off. Now after the chicane, I just let go here, as we introduced earlier, and now I'm basically back in control.
Wow,
I can do manual driving.
I am so thoroughly impressed by that, because I honestly thought that I was going to be terrified the whole way around, but Kind of behaves exactly the way I feel like I would behave around a racetrack, you know, if you know a little bit about racing. All right, so we're back. So now it's my turn, yeah?
Now it's your turn.
I've got to say, well played, Bobby. Well played, sir. This is it. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't nervous. And we're off. First chicane. Oh, too hot into that one. Hold it, come on. And to be honest with you, Bobby is actually at a severe disadvantage. I've got everything to lose in this situation. He's got 2 people in the car instead of 1. He's got kind of just ordinary brakes. I have ceramic brakes. And he's carrying hundreds of pounds of sensors and equipment. And he's a robot. Let's not forget that. I can't help but feel like Bobby was a little bit more composed. Whoa, into the dirt there. Oh, here's the fast part, straight away. 5th gear, hold it through the corner. Hard on the anchors. Come on, Buckley. Oh, last turn. You gotta do it. It's for mankind. I don't know. It's gonna be touch and go. Man, that was awesome.
How was it? Good.
It was fantastic, but I'm so nervous. Like, I'm seriously...
So you want the news?
I want the news. Okay, first things first. What did Bobby get?
Bobby did 2 minutes, 13 seconds, 0.4.
Okay, well, I've never actually timed a lap around here, so I don't know if that's really good or bad.
That's decent.
Okay. All right, well, what was...
So do you think you were faster?
Well, this is the thing. I was on the ragged limit, so if Bobby's beat me, then I've got to give him massive kudos, because I couldn't have gone any harder than that.
Okay. No, actually, you've done the best lap time today.
Really?
And you did 2 minutes, 6 seconds, 0.2.
Yes! That's
Congrats.
Awesome. I'm so happy about that. But honestly, I've got to say, kudos to you and your team, because that is absolutely phenomenal. What they've managed to achieve with Bobby and automated driving is just simply incredible out here at Ascari today. Coming up, the ultimate racing simulator. But first, the Lamborghini Huracan. That's the best fun I have ever had on 4 wheels.
Autoblog, the ultimate automotive resource. From the latest vehicle reviews, shopping advice, and ownership tips, to helpful apps, community forums, and photo sharing. Autoblog, where you can research, shop, and share everything on wheels.
Over the last 10 years, the Gallardo has been Lamborghini's biggest selling car to date, but all good things must come to an end. However, there is a new contender about to step up to the plate, and it's set to be Lamborghini's most technologically advanced car to date. And that's why we're here in southern Spain to get behind the wheel of this, the all-new Lamborghini Huracan. So the Ascari race circuit in Ronda, Spain. The track itself is gorgeous, but the surroundings just as nice. Sorry, I've got my concentration face on now because we're going pretty quick. And I was supposed to say lots of big words and go into all kind of acronyms about how amazing this car is, but all I really want to do is concentrate on how much fun I'm having in this thing, because it's absolutely epic.
Now I will try to take you in a virtual tour inside the Lamborghini Huracan. You have the first touching point with the car is the steering wheel. We allowed our driver to have the possibility to control the car, first of all with the pedal, where you can upshift, downshift. Also what we call Anima. Anima is the possibility with one click to change reaction, the behavioral of the Huracan.
So on the steering wheel, there's this button they call the anime button, which stands for soul. Italians are always about these sort of emotional, very sort of grand words that they like to use. And this car really does evoke a lot of emotion. I mean, you can hear it. I'm currently in Corsa mode, which is sticking to the road. switch between the modes, there's so many different things happening. The suspension tightens up, the gear changes get faster, the steering changes. It has variable steering, so it changes the steering. So you don't have to turn the wheel quite as far. You just kind of give it a little tweak and you're flying through the corners.
And also in this new Huracan, we have a V10 engine that is able of an output of 610 horsepower. We decide to adopt what is a double clutch, 7-speed gear that allow the driver to use the car in every kind of condition. To do this, you need a fast reaction time of the car. There are normally a system that control what happened in a car based on 3 accelerometer and 1 gyroscope.
Now that we've finally got some heat into the tyres, she's definitely squirming around a lot more. So this is a good chance to see how well these systems work with the new accelerometers. It's got 3 gyroscopes and 3 accelerometers measuring, I think it's like 1,000 times a second, exactly what the car's doing. Is the car letting go? Does it need a little bit more pressure on the outside damping? Because the suspension's variable as well, and so it just kind of adapts to what's going on in the car, and it works. This thing is literally, it's from the future. You can see the influences, you can see the hexagonal design cues throughout the whole car, and it really is just incredible.
We try to do a big amount of work in the aluminium chassis. We achieve, but we also achieve an increase of the weight. In order to solve the problem, we substitute aluminium with carbon fiber.
I would lose my license in a heartbeat in this thing on the street. Heartbeat. And as a replacement for the Gallardo, judging by the sales of the Gallardo, I mean, they're sold over 12,000 in the, 10 years that the Gallardo was on sale, which is the biggest run for any Lamborghini ever made. I think the Huracan has a very, very good chance of matching those numbers as well. No, I'm just going to say it out straight. That's the best fun I have ever had on 4 wheels. I had some moments, don't get me wrong, where it just kind of lets go ever so slightly. The back end wants to go and the front end wants to go, but then it just kind of pulls it back in altogether. And it just does it so well. It's so composed. And you know what? People are going to say, oh, it's so expensive. It's $237,000 and then some. But look at what you're getting. Really nice.
Yes, really good driver.
You're a good driver. We need to do more today. Any day you get to drive a Lamborghini around a racetrack in Spain, well, it's a pretty good day. But when you're driving a supercar that's packed with the latest technology that a company like Lamborghini has to offer, well, it just makes it that much better. I've got to say, the Huracan is a worthy replacement for the Gallardo. We've got a massive hats off to Lamborghini for doing such a wonderful job. Up next, the Motion Pro 2 Racing Simulator. I've got to say, I'm very impressed so far. Like the sound of the car, the seats wobbling around. Ever since pole position arrived in the early 80s, racing games have been a major part of the video game industry. With games like Forza Motorsport or Gran Turismo, people can really get a sense of what it's like to tear it up at the track from home. But the team at CXC Simulations think they've truly got something that can leave those games in the dust. For a price, that is. So I'm here with the founder and president of CXC Simulations, Chris Considine. You guys look like you're pretty busy. You've got quite a few simulators on the production line.
That's right, yeah. We build probably the most advanced simulators in the world now.
Of course, we're talking about the Motion Pro 2, which has been getting a lot of attention. It is being used by not only your typical racers, but also consumers just for fun. I mean, it's got a pretty broad spectrum when it comes to uses.
We designed it originally as a professional training tool for race car drivers. So everything along the design line was make it authentic, make it real, make it a really good training tool. We have thousands of car and track models. So we can start you off at a street car and work you all the way up to Formula One. And in between, we can go off-road, rally, anything you like. As long as it's got 4 wheels, we probably have it in our catalog.
All right. Obviously, there's some great systems on the market already from your regular home consoles, you know, your Xbox or your PlayStation. The Motion Pro 2 takes it to a whole other level, doesn't it?
Exactly. And for us, it's all about the feel. For a race car driver, you feel something before you see it, and you react and make a controlling decision based on that feeling. We built the whole system around how it feels first, then visual reference, so big, wide, immersive screen, so you actually have to turn your head. And then beyond that, we have really advanced simulation training software that is hyper accurate. Our track models are millimeter perfect.
What is the software that you're using?
Today, we're going to be using a software called iRacing.
When it comes to the hardware on the simulator, it looks super robust. Is this the kind of thing that can last for years and years and years?
Yeah, when we designed it, we reached for the same materials that you would use in a race car for good reason. One, because it needs to feel and behave exactly like a race car, but two, because we want it to last forever. The steering wheel and the pedals and all those things need to be identical to the one that you're using in the real car. So racing teams find that very, very important.
Well, we did a track day in the M4 out at Auto Club Speedway in Fontana. Well, here we are. So, this is my very first time out on this track, and they gave us an M4. 3-litre, twin-turbo V6, 7-speed, dual-clutch transmission. It's an auto transmission, but you can do the paddle shifters. Oh, and the jitters are gone. Now it's just game time. What a track. This is a good chance to get a feel for the car as well. We've got 425 horsepower in this puppy, 408 pound-feet of torque. Okay, main straight, and I think it's go time. Okay, that's fast. 140 through there, and brake. Ooh. Oh, it's a drag race. I'm gonna go around you, buddy. Sorry, buddy. You probably don't like it. Thank you. I'm very curious now to see what my lap times were. Would it be possible, or is it possible, after using the Motion Pro 2, that I could see a drop in those lap times, do you think?
Oh, definitely. It's all seat time, and I can give you infinite seat time. And we can work on some advanced techniques as well.
I'm excited. I can't wait to see the track in digital HD. Oh, I'm off. Wow. Oh, I like the way it vibrates and rumbles.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can feel the gear shift as well.
Oh, yeah.
I gotta say, I'm very impressed so far. Like the sound of the car, the seats wobbling around. It looks exactly like we had the other day.
There you go. Now sighting the exits. Exit, exit, exit.
Oh, little moment.
There you go. Our haptic feedback is physical feedback of any form, right? The most visual one is the motion system. You can see that on the back of the seat, and it is actually moving you around.
Yep.
We then have a seatbelt tensioner system that will compress the seatbelts under braking. So if you're braking very hard, you can actually feel yourself being pulled
like you're being
backwards.
pulled forward in your seat when you're hard on the brakes.
Yes, exactly,
wow.
yeah.
I feel like more and more as time goes by, racing teams are starting to see the value of simulators. A lot of guys, because tracks are situated all over the world, you don't get the chance to just pop down there and do a few sighting laps.
These days, simulation is a must-have. Time equals money on the racetrack. The first car they'll get into is a junior formula car. That's almost $11,000 a day to test. And for that, you get maybe an hour of track time.
Oh! When you put it into that perspective, the price of the Motion Pro 2 starts to sound a lot more reasonable because it isn't cheap. I mean, base model is around about 50,000 going all the way up to, is it 80,000?
It can go infinitely because we can custom design anything a customer wants. If you wanted to go do 3 race weekends in an M4 or maybe a racing variant of it, you would be consuming, assuming it didn't hit anything, you would have to travel to the racetrack and all those consumables that you go through, right? Start adding that up over many race weekends, and you start to realize that that car is actually much more expensive than the simulator after about a couple months. Oh, got on the throttle just a little too early and missed the apex simultaneous.
Well, I've completed my first session in the Motion Pro 2. I wasn't sure at first going into it. I thought, well, this would be a great tool for learning the track or learning which way the track goes and turns. But it's so much more than that. It's your braking markers, it's finding your apexes. I was so immersed into it. Well, we are going to go back to the track. We're going to go in the M4.
Back at the track, and exactly the same car. 2015 BMW M4. Only real difference is this car's yellowy green instead of the black, and I've spent a few hours and maybe 100, 150 laps in a simulator trying to figure out the lay of the land here, and yeah, getting pretty excited to hit the track again. Well, here goes nothing. All right, here we go. So, first lap with a bit of speed on. Tyres feel good. Well, that's a big difference. I'm already passing people. Man, this is such a difference from when the first time I came out. My confidence levels alone are just so much higher. This is my problem point in the simulator. After we go through the chicane here, which is normally flat out, we come up to turn 9. It's wide with a late apex. And I kept messing it up and messing it up. I spent a lot of time with Chris and on the simulator working on my throttle control around here and not just stomping on it and just feathering the throttle. And that's what's making a difference, because you can switch off all of these systems now and really get full acceleration as you come out of the turns. And it's bloody awesome.
Well, let's get right to it. After our first day at the track, the best time I could squeeze out was a 1:59.9. Today, on my first flying lap, I've managed a 1:57.6. That's over 2 seconds faster. Now, I attribute that directly to the Motion Pro 2. And while it's pricey, in the racing world, where every second counts, that's just a drop in the bucket. And it's almost as much fun as the real thing. For Translogic, I'm Jonathon Buckley. I'll catch you next time.